Viewpoints On episode 37.
Yeah, we're a few days late. We had some technical difficulties on Friday.
We'll call them technical difficulties.
So we got a little compact show for you this week, but let's get right into Want to See It.
Yes, last week we had G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe and Julie and Julia were pretty much the two big movies. G.I. Joe obviously was #1 at the box office. We all knew it was going to happen, but the real story, I guess, is how much the drop-off was from week
today's
one and
today's Monday, so we have the drop-off. It was 68%.
It was still #2, but
it made about 22 million off from, it was like 58 or something. So that's a pretty big drop-off.
Julie and Julia, it was in I think it was in second place, and then it stayed pretty good. We'll talk about the movies that opened over the weekend. Starting with the big one, District 9, which of course was the #1 movie with about 33 million.
37.
Oh, I'm sorry, 37 million, which you saw.
Yes, I saw it on Friday. Went to the first showing in the digital projection screen, which looked exactly like a normal screen to me. So I was like, this looks exactly the same.
So the story is that these aliens come and they're in South Africa, and we keep them here and sort of put them in this, enslavement camp.
Well, they don't have a way of going home because part of the ship fell off, and it was like the command module, and no one can find it. Okay. So that was like the part of the ship needed so the ship can leave. So then that's like running through the story is where's this command module.
Well, the real hype around it has been that there was some big twists and turns, so you can...
Spoil away?
You can spoil away.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. So the movie follows this guy, I think it's Vicus. His name is really hard. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name. So his name is Vicus. At first, he's like this, paper pusher. He's like this, guy with ties, very corporate man. His father-in-law is the boss, so that's why he got the job.
Sure.
And so he has to go into District 9 and serve eviction notices because they're going to move all the aliens to this other district where it's like smaller tents, and so it won't be like less ghetto. So he goes into District 9. He's being a real jerk about evicting people, and like he's laughing when they like kill the alien babies, and he's just like he knows, like he's sort of an expert on the aliens and everything. And he accidentally gets sprayed with this black stuff, which you come to find out is the fuel needed for the ship, which I don't know why. Anyways, so he, worst comes to worst, he starts turning into an alien.
Oh, okay.
And so he has like the hand, and so the not the Americans, but like the humans find out that his hand's like that, and the first thing they think of is he can fire the weapons, because their weapons can only be fired by them, because it has like a DNA thing.
Sure, sure.
And so they want to use him sort of as an experiment, so they have him like kill aliens and stuff, and he starts to break down. But it's more selfish because he realizes he can't be with his wife anymore. So it's not like, oh God, I'm going to have to, be a experiment. It's more like I'll never be able to see my wife again. So he hides in District 9, and that's when all the they send people in after him because they find out. Sure. So he gets to use their weapons, which are basically they're like electricity that makes you explode, or like this sonic thing that makes you explode. There's one thing where it's like a electrical taser, and it hits a guy in the head and he explodes. So lots of explosions of people. I won't spoil the ending. I won't go on to spoil the ending, but it involves he comes to meet this this alien. His name's Christopher, and his little kid, which is really cute, is like this little alien. And he's like chirping, and he's really cute. The main thing of this movie is the special effects are amazing. Like,
and this movie had a really low budget, like $30 million.
It's already made its budget back.
Right.
And that's the thing that makes me mad is when we first saw the G.I. Joe trailer. We looked at the CGI and I'm like, oh God, that is like with they're in those suits and they're flipping around. I'm like, oh, that CGI looks horrible. That budget was $175 million. Right,
right.
And this one is only $30 million. So you're like, wow,
It's almost 6 times the budget of District 9.
I'm sure Peter Jackson gave them deals and stuff with his company.
Right, but
I'm sure, but still. The main actor, Charlton Copley.
Yeah.
When I left, I told this in the blog, but I'll tell you again. When I left the theater, I'm like, I want to go see what other movies he's been in, just so I could see. Apparently, he's never acted before.
Yeah, this is his first movie, and everybody's saying, you know, his first movie out, and now he's going to be a big star because he's so good in
Amazing. This. Like, he pulled off, like, the nerdy guy, then he pulled off, like, the jerk, and then he's sort of like a compassionate character towards the end. And it just, the action and everything, like, I was, my jaw just hit the floor because I couldn't believe this was his first movie.
Well, the other movies opening, Time Traveler's Wife and The Goods, Ponyo, they all pretty much did about as expected. Yeah. I don't know if we have time left, but we were reading an article
just a little bit
about Band Slam, which I guess did not have a good opening, even with the Twilight trailer in front of it, and, you know, them pushing it, but I guess it turns out they marketed it terribly. Yeah. Which we have discussed as an ongoing problem with the summer movies. I guess they marketed it as a sort of Disney High School Musical type flick, but it's more of a
angsty,
quirky, you know,
Juno-ish.
Yeah, sort of movie. And if they had marketed it that way, it might have did a little better. So,
I think another one like that is the movie The Rocker with Rainn Wilson. Because that had really good music in it, and it was made more like a slapstick comedy with him.
Yeah.
But it had heart and everything. I think that was, I don't know what it was with music movies. They just can't market it. One thing also we want to talk about that was sort of released, so it's kind of a want to see it, on DVD
The rare DVD review.
Actually, I have it right here.
Green Lantern First Flight.
Yes. They played it at Comic-Con twice because it was so popular. The first time they had to turn people away, so they played it again on the last day.
This is basically the origin story of how Hal Jordan becomes the Green Lantern. Christopher Maloney does the voice of Hal Jordan, and what we both talked about, Victor Garber is the voice of Sinestro, and he's fantastic. So when they started talking about making that Green Lantern movie, I think you already have a good solid choice for who should play Sinestro.
Yeah, perfect voice. Tricia Helfer's in it. She's good too. Juliet Landau's in it.
It's a really sort of an all-star voice cast.
Yeah, really good.
And just a fun little 90 minutes, you know.
Yeah, and the DVD, I got a 2-disc DVD that goes into the comic books and the history, and which I think is really good for people who have never even picked up the comic books before, or maybe aren't even sure what's going on, because they even have a Blackest Night thing. Which
there's some great special features on there.
Yeah, so it's a good movie. You can find it cheap. I think Target had it for like $12.99.
Right,
so that's, you can't beat something for that. That's like almost the price of a movie nowadays.
Sure, exactly.
So that's it for Want to See It. I think we all would have picked District 9 anyway if we would have done this before.
Sure.
Yeah, so we were right, even without kind of knowing it. or knowing it, but not really. Anyways.